What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Teedogcustoms to another video. We have a very exciting video for you guys, and very exciting for me as well. And it has to do with the Jeep. And before we get started, huge shout out to my buddy who is letting me use his Miller welder. This thing is absolutely a unit, and it's going to help burning in mounts like this. So it's time to drop kick this out of here, because this thing is a piece of crap pretty much. If you're trying to weld anything over 1/8 of an inch, you might as well just throw it away. So again, thank you. You know who you are for letting me use that. It will be greatly appreciated. So what we're gonna do is kind of a recap of what I have done in the last probably week since I have really videoed any part of this. I believe we've already covered the front, but the main stuff came in while we're talking about the rear here. So, where to start? Well, let's start here. First, if you look, you can see that we are stretched. So I did stretch it back a little bit. The Jeep is on its own weight, so you can see motor mounts here. I mean, not motor mounts, you can see the leaf spring mounts here. We still got to burn everything in, and then you can see the end of the transfer case right here, and then the diff right there. Now, to be able, if you look, you can see the spacing. To be able to get space for the fuel tank in the diff right there, I had to move the fuel tank up 3 daggone inches. So the fuel tank is literally up. I had to cut the metal, if you can see that in there, the metal pieces. I had to weld this brace in there. And then right along here, you can see there's a cut. That's because I had to cut it, and you know, I put these 2 nuts in here to hold it, and yeah, so it's kind of the situation. So everything should be though good. We got the sump back in, and you can see all the clearances now. Plenty. Got the brake lines run last night actually. I still need to kind of build tabs and weld in tabs for mounting, but they are in. Got the shocks also in by it's nice and stiff. Now on the front here, that's what I was just about to work on, is the shocks for up here. Still kind of loose without the shocks, so having these right here, rough country shocks, will really help with stiffening up the front end. And then we got to put those in. Got to burn some more brackets in here, box this off. There's a list of things, and I will show you on my phone real quick. This is the list that is the list of things that need to get done, and really looking forward to it. So without further ado, let's dive right into this and get this knocked out. So it is the evening time again. I was not having great success with this welder because it was off of 110, as you can see right here. So what I've done is I have 220 out in the shop, but I needed to get a different fitting so it would fit up to that one. So that's what I'm gonna do now. That way I can weld the thicker stuff, because right now about a quarter inch, I mean not a quarter, an eighth is the biggest that I can weld. So also shout out to my neighbor who got these this drive shaft welded in, so that should be good. Yeah, super excited. So I'll get that in tonight, and then technically the Jeep will be able to be driven. I just need to you know, hook it up and then burn in some of these mounts, and then I'll actually be able to drive it, and we'll see how things turn out. I have been working on the Jeep. I've got it about probably 95% done, and I went to, first of all, let's have a little talk real quick. In the previous videos you might have noticed that I was powder coating a set of wheels for the Jeep, and I bought tires. I bought 37 1350s 17s, and it turns out that those wheels are actually 16s. So anyways, I got rid of the previous wheels I had, and now I'm left with this. So I went out last night and we picked up these stock wheels for now. Eventually I'll get some nice nicer like bead locks or something, but for now these will work. 150 bucks. And then I mounted the tires on them. You can see right here. So these are 37 1350s, and they were like 1,100 bucks on eBay, brand new. So we'll give them a try. Also, I don't have the wheels and tires anymore, but I still have the axles and the leaf springs from the YJ. So if you are interested, hit me up. Everything's in working order, and the rear end has a limited slip diff, so locks them up. Look at these things, folks. These things, whoa, are absolutely massive. And anyways, they're going to look really good on the Jeep, I think, and should do good in the mud and off-roading up in the mountains and stuff. Like I said, these are stocks, so they're nothing fancy. I didn't want to powder coat these because they will be a temporary wheel, but everything seems to work all right. So I'm going to unload the rest. a couple things too that I want to mention. These rims came with pretty much brand new tires on them, and I was originally gonna sell the tires, but now I'm thinking, because these are temporary wheels, I'll probably keep them instead of selling them. And when I'm done, once I get the real wheel set up for the Jeep, I will swap those onto these and then have a pretty much stock wheel set up for, like, on the truck at least, like passing inspections. You know, those wheels are too big, too much offset and wide to pass inspection. So that's probably what I'll use them for. But as tempted as I am to pop those wheels on here, I'm not convinced that it will fit in the garage when I have them on. I just don't know. It's going to be close, but I'm not quite ready for that. I need to weld a couple more things. I want to get the brakes hooked up. They are hooked up. What I mean by that is I want to get them bled so they work. And you can see, got the tiny little drive shafts. Got the drive shaft right there. One thing that does need to change, which is kind of a big deal too, the diff in the back on the old Jeep was at a different location. So this diff sits a little offset on the passenger side, so the drive line is at a little angle. So what I need to do is I need to move the transmission mount over passenger about a ½ an inch maybe. That would probably be enough. But it just binds up. There's a spot where it binds up, and I don't feel okay with that happening. So that's a big deal. That's probably what I'm going to tackle right now. I need my wife really to do the brake bleeding. That's what I found is easiest with two people. Check for leaks, make sure all that is good. But as far as the engine goes, we didn't touch anything. There is a thick coat of just, I don't even want to do it with my finger, but I will. Look at that. As soon as I'm done with this, as far as get all the welding wrapped up, I'm going to be taking it and washing it outside, and power washing the axles, and then I'm going to paint the axles. While we're talking about that, I almost forgot. I shortened this up, and there's still threads. So this part used to spin, and there's threads on this part that goes to the pitman arm and then the outer tie rod here. So there's threads in this spin. So I cut the threads, so there was about an inch of thread left, and I did the same on this so I could suck it in as tight because it was too long. And it anyway, so I did that. Then I welded this piece to here, and then I threw this clamp on and welded the clamp on to this part and then back onto this part too. So this is not going anywhere, and that will work just fine until I feel like spending $250 on the it's coming to me, Heim joint steering kit. So that's kind of the deal here. But I also another thing, I don't know if I showed you guys this, I did get the shocks in as well. So I just used the stock mounting point, and then we cut these off where the F350 shocks originally went, and I welded them down here. And you have to put them at a little angle, but I like the angle. I think it looks pretty rad. But I got both of those done. The brake lines, guys, as well. They, like I showed you guys before, they bolted right in from the Jeep. Now, we did have these nice extended braided lines already. And then same back here, there's a braided line. And then I made the rear lines. But anyways, yeah. What is left now? So I'm going to go ahead and figure out how I'm going to move this trans over the best way. My grinder, RIP to my grinder. Oh, I've had this probably for, geez, probably close to 10 years, if not more. And it finally gave up the ghost today. So yeah, for a while I had to tap it with a hammer to get it to work. I don't know if it's the like magnets inside or what, but it's time. I had to do this as well because something happened to the end. Anyways, I can't really grind, and you pretty much, for projects like this, you have to use a grinder a lot, especially if you're welding. Make sure this is off. Again, huge shout out to my buddy. This thing made it possible for me to do pretty much all the thicker than, you know, 1/4 inch. So I mean, yeah. All right, I will see you guys back in a bit. Another day here. Something that we are running into. So I have the drive shaft in, and if you notice the drive shaft right there, where the stock axle was in the center of the axle, and on this you know, F350 axle or F250 axle, it is not quite centered. It's a little on the passenger side. So what that in turn means is that we're going to have to move the transmission over to the driver or passenger side about 1 inch or 1/2 inch to get the drive shaft to be straight. So what that in turn means is I need to remake the transmission mount, weld that all up, but that will be in another video. This is like part 4, I think, and this is where we're gonna end the build off right here as it sits. These wheels should be amazing. The tires, when they're on, should look pretty rad and should be good. However, in this video, you're not going to see them on this, so you will see these on in the next video. I've got some time today. I'm going to rip all this out, and we will relocate the brackets for the transmission and hopefully get these things all wrapped up. As always, guys, keep grinding. Thank you guys for watching. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.